All right, guys. Strange things are afoot at Ubisoft. So we got the news that XDefiant is closing down by June. That the servers are down. The San Francisco Ubisoft and the Osaka Ubisoft studios are also shutting down, and a whole bunch of people are getting laid off. Well, Smash JT posted this article about a leaked Ubisoft CEO memo that is exposing XDefiant as the first domino to fall. So apparently, this is just the beginning for Ubisoft's downfall, which we've seen it coming. Look how bad of a year they've had. I don't think they've had one hit. Everything has underperformed, whether it was Prince of Persia, whether it was Skull and Bones, which lost them millions of dollars. Star Wars Outlaws struggled to get a million, and Shadows, that got delayed. And the stock's at an all time decade low. I think this company's in trouble. I think they're going to be sold really soon or privatized. I have no clue, right? But yeah, this article by Smash says that the recent shutdown of XDefiant, alongside the closures of the production studios that we mentioned, feel like the first tangible domino to fall, and what could be a chain reaction that defines Ubisoft's ultimate demise. I still have a soft spot in my heart for Ubisoft because of games like Assassin's Creed and even how Mario and Rabbids, those are good games. But this is this is sad to see, but it's also because they've made bad choices throughout the recent years, including stuff that we've talked about on here in regards to just overall the quality of their games and the pricing structures and just how quickly these games go to discount. Like nobody wants to buy an Ubisoft game day one anymore because within a matter of months, the game's on sale for like sometimes half price or more. And on top of that, we've been seeing Ubisoft make mistake after mistake this year in regards to DEI being injected in their games. So we've already been seeing what Ubisoft is up to. Now, here's something right here that was a part of, I guess, the memo that Ubisoft had right here. And there's a highlighted part right here where it says, "We will continue working on evolving our organization to adapt it to market changes with a long term perspective in mind." Now, that's some curious writing right here. This is from the CEO, V's Guillemot. And honestly, that's kind of a nice corporate way of saying, hey, if we got to close some more studios down, we're going to do it. We're going to adapt to market changes. So, market change means what if Assassin's Creed Shadows flops? Which it's probably going to. They've already spent a lot of money just delaying it. I mean, this is a very strong possibility. So, with this saying we're looking with a long term perspective in mind, we're going to make market changes. That tells me that there's a lot more layoffs coming. In fact, there's rumored layoffs coming in January. Now, this is first reported by Steven Totilo. Ubisoft has announced the closure of its San Francisco and Osaka production studios. This is a I guess a rehash of what we just talked about. Now, it's being rumored that there'll be up to 277 people being laid off, not 177, and that half the X Defiant team is moving on to other projects, which is sad because it's only been 6 months since the game actually launched. And this was supposed to be the Call of Duty killer. Now, it says Ubisoft had hoped the game would compete with Call of Duty, but recently was denying shutdown rumors amid declining player numbers. If you have a live service game, if people aren't tuning in, whether it's woke or not, it's not going to do good. It's all about the microtransactions. It's all about a concurrent player base. I mean, look at Concord. They fucking flopped. So it says half the team is being reassigned to other projects, but there's no guarantee that they'll stay on for the long term either. Positioned as a competitor to Call of Duty, the game faced declining player numbers and failed to meet even minimal expectations. It says the business office in San Francisco will still remain operational. The ramp down in Sydney specifically only affects the production team currently. So this was a message to the players where they're saying they're going to refund all, if you spent money within the last, I think, 8 weeks or 30 days or like since November 3rd, I think, whatever it is, you're going to get refunded your money. Everything's closing by June. And yeah, I mean, honestly, this game performed bad. Now, not Concord bad, but still bad to where millions of dollars were another project by Ubisoft that failed. And Ubisoft can't keep this up. Ubisoft cannot keep having $1 million go to waste. Think about Star Wars Outlaws. They barely struggled a month to get 1 million units sold, and people aren't even talking about that game anymore. It came out on Steam about a couple weeks ago, and it was a fart in the wind. This game was literally a fart in the wind on Steam. Has nowhere near a player base that's necessary to get money. People aren't even excited about it anymore because Star Wars overall is basically a dead franchise. Let's be completely honest here, and I'm a Star Wars fan. But they've been made too many mistakes with that, plus add Ubisoft on top of that. That's a recipe of like a shit Sunday, right? So going on, it says, Ubisoft forcing the plug and all this is just not a good sign. So here's the internal memo saying, it's been some time since I last spoke to you, and I apologize for the silence, especially as the past months have been challenging and unsettling for Ubisoft and likely for you. The announcement by Marie Sophie regarding the discontinuation of XDefiant, the closure of the San Francisco and Osaka studios, and the ramp down of the Sydney production site is among the difficult decisions we've had to make. I want to take this opportunity to pay tribute to tremendous work done by the XDefiant's teams. Their goal was to challenge the best shooter on the market, but despite the intensity of their efforts, it was not enough. It's a big slice of humble pie here. And you can see, continuing on, this is evidence that this is probably the first domino, like Smash's article speculates, of many to come. Because, I mean, again, when it comes to corporations, when it comes to money talks, bullshit walks, and if you're not getting your job done, they're going to close you. And Ubisoft's going to do what it takes to stay open, even though things look dark and grim for them. So, since over the past few weeks, I've had the chance to read the results of the Ubisoft XP 2024 survey. The vast majority of you participated. The response rate was over 86%, and you've shared your questions and concerns about the future of Ubisoft via more than 55,000 comments. So, this is kind of alarming. When you get internal memos that are leaking out, that means there's people out there giving stuff to journalists. Things aren't hunky-dory. You can see it echoes the sentiments of the public post from Marie Sophie D. Robert, the chief studios and portfolio officer, who said that they're doing targeted restructuring when necessary, which is a fancy word of we're firing people when we need to. If I was working at Ubisoft, I would be terrified of having my job lost here within a month or so, because it could happen at any point. Tell me that the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team is not scared of that game failing right now at this point. And again, this article right here talks about how Skull and Bones is rumored to have burned through $850 million because it took like a 10-year development cycle. It was hyped up. They spent a lot of money. It came out and it crashed and fucking burned. I played it for like a week or two and I forgot about it. Star Wars Outlaws, again, fell flat. Steam player counts aren't even breaking 2,000. You can see right here, 2,500, concurrent players at launch. And Guillemot admitted that sales were softer than expected. We've been covering all of this. And honestly, I haven't even really talked about how DEI's affected it. But let's be completely honest. A lot of this had to do with nonsense like Kay Vess being literally a female Han Solo. If you remember, the lead writer said she looked up to Han Solo growing up, but as a little girl, she couldn't relate to him. Little things like that. I mean, didn't they just add a wheelchair character, an operator in Rainbow Six? And then, you have all the controversy with Assassin's Creed Shadows with Yasuke or Yasuke, however you want to pronounce it. I say Yasuke. It's a domino effect. And it's not even just XDefiant that's causing it. Look at everything. XDefiant, Prince of Persia, Skull and Bones, Assassin's Creed being delayed, Star Wars Outlaws not performing well. It's all going to add up, guys. At the end of the day, and people say, "Oh, well, what's the stats on it being because of DEI?" Well, look at it. Look at it. Every single thing is fucking failing. And if one game gets tainted, if one game has a bad reputation, if a studio starts to fail in the eyes of the consumer, they're all going to have trouble. All the games are going to have trouble. So I don't know. I think we might not be seeing Ubisoft last here much longer. This memo, this leaked memo and stuff, you guys want to read a little bit in depth, I'm sure, you can go and read Smash's article and look into it or Google around. It's very concerning. So, what are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. And subscribe. Hit that fucking subscribe button. Come on, guys. Quit being bitches. I'm just joking. Have a good night.